I think even right-wingers would agree that the series of events that played out with Elon was just strange. No, he wasn't, when the whole Doge thing happened, Trump wasn't running on, I'm going to let Elon be president for a few months. Like, that wasn't a part of the promise. And I've seen even big, prominent right-wing figures speaking out against how bizarre it was that for a second there, just the entire reins of the government were handed to Elon. He was running around doing whatever he'd like. And we're getting more insight on how bizarre of a series of, it didn't just feel like that. It was bizarre that he was given all that power and then pretty rapidly announces he's leaving together. You have that much power and supposedly you're finding so much fraud, but now they don't want you around at all. And why that happened. And we would like to believe it's because the Trump administration came to their senses and just morally was against him taking food out of people's mouths practically and doing some terrible cuts, but obviously not. It was personal. And I want to get into that here in a second. But I think if you're wondering to yourself, does anyone like him? Does anyone like Elon Musk? And it's not just you in an echo chamber feeling that way. Most people, as this headline goes, don't like Elon. And that really was the nail in the coffin of his time in the White House. The New Republic has this report, and we have a lot to talk about in this segment, but starting here, F you! Entire Trump team hated Elon Musk. Damning report reveals Elon Musk has left the White House in utter failure. There's so much, but the reason I'm coming to this is, first of all, this report's out right now, but also because I think it's going to be easy to just fly past. We can't let people forget the politically toxic variable, as now there's so many, like the reconciliation bill, but that Elon was, and that how could you possibly trust the judgment of a president, Donald Trump, who would give the type of power to Elon that he did? Because he was an utter failure. By their metric, which is how much fraud can he find, and by our metric, which is that people's lives have been upended, even while he's not achieving the levels of cuts that he's promised. Elon Musk's shouting match with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent might have been the final nail in the coffin for the tech billionaire's 4-month stint in the White House, but it came after months of bubbling frustration at Musk's chainsaw approach to dismantling the federal government. And this is a fun little quote. Let me read this. I don't know if I can pronounce all these words. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you is the quote. I had to read it because it's quoted. A typically mild-mannered Bessent was heard shouting after Musk as they charged down the halls of the West Wing. Now, take that down for a second, Jade. We gotta put that on the soundboard. F you, F you, F you. This is Scott Bessent, okay? So I want you to imagine him speaking, and then we'll look at Elon speaking, and imagine Bessent chasing after Elon down the hall, going, F you, F you, F you. This is Scott Bessent.
Well, it's not the president accepted, it'd be the United States government. And Senator Mullins said this weekend that the talks had actually begun under the Biden administration. So, but Kristen, what I can tell you is I think this is a off-ramp for many in the media not to acknowledge what an incredible trip this was. That President Trump has brought back trillions of investments in the United States.
Elon, I wish that I could rip your throat out and make you swallow it. If I wasn't being held back, I would beat your face in, Elon.
What a creep. What a jerk.
That's, and maybe Elon would have responded to Scott Bessent by saying,
what a creep. What a jerk.
And then, of course, you have Elon, just kind of as we go through this story, to characterize these two figures, because probably the most bizarre shouting match ever that became more consequential than ever, because increasingly it seems that this exchange with someone as powerful as Scott Bessent pushed Trump over the edge, and he heard it down the hall. What an S show. But here's Elon, if you haven't heard him before.
I think the value of that pay package stands at about $100 billion. Are you saying you are relaxed about the value of your future pay package? Your decision to be committed to Tesla for the next 5 years, as long as you are still with us on this planet, is completely independent of pay?
No.
It's not independent. So pay is a relevant factor then to your commitment to Tesla?
A sufficient voting control such that I cannot be ousted by activist investors is what matters to me. And I've said this publicly many times. But let's not have this whole thing be a discussion of my alleged pay. It's not a money thing. It's a reasonable control thing over the future of the company, especially if we're building millions, potentially billions of humanoid robots. I can't be sitting there.
As a side note, I forgot to address this when we originally watched that clip. No, thank you. No, thank you. Please, no. I do not want Elon Musk designing the robots. I don't want it. The humanoid robots. I want somebody else, anybody else. I'll take Mark Zuckerberg. I will. I don't want Elon's robots populating the earth. We already have enough of his legion of babies populating the earth. I don't want Elon's robots. It would be, play some of those sound bites. Imagine the robot saying,
I am become meme.
That's what they would say.
Legalize comedy.
That's what they would say.
What a creep. What a jerk.
I don't want those robots. Please, Lord, I don't want those robots. I think to give us some characterization further, remember this moment?
Prison, and the people that funded them and organized them will also go to prison. Don't worry.
But wouldn't you?
We're coming for you.
Wouldn't you?
Don't worry, I'm coming for you, Scott Bessent. You can't speak to me like that. I am Elon Musk. I will sick my legion of babies and my legion of robots on you, and they will attack you and punch you and punch you and punch you and punch you until you're dead. And then they will kill you more. And then they will kill you until you are dead. That's what my little sister used to say growing up. I'm going to kill you until you're dead. That's vicious and scientifically confusing. And then you also have the Atlantic reporting on this. I just love the way they're doing it. Quotes. F you, F you, F you. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent was shouting at Elon Musk in the halls of the West Wing last month, loud enough for Donald Trump to hear, and in a language that he could certainly understand. Bessent and Musk were fighting over which of them could choose the next IRS leader, and implicitly over Musk's bureaucracy be damned crusade. Without securing the Treasury chief's sign-off, Musk had pushed through his own pick for the job. Bessent was quite obviously not having it. I really wish I wish we had video of that exchange. I wish. It's two people who, if we figure out how to make robots who look really, really, really human, they'll just be Scott Bessent and Elon Musk. Like, that is what human robots are going to be like, are those two with those levels of charisma. By the way, if you appreciate the show, please do click the subscribe button. Speaking of charisma-less people, Ron DeSantis has a big announcement.
We're here at Epic Universe, the long-awaited new theme park in Central Florida at Universal. Tomorrow is the official grand opening. We're here the day before to check it out. I can tell you this is pretty amazing. I think the kids are going to have a lot of fun here. I would definitely recommend you check it out. This was announced in 2019 that they were going to do this. Billions and billions of dollars have gone into it. It's going to be a huge impact economically for Florida. But I think even more importantly than that, it's going to give a lot of memories to a lot of kids coming through. They got a Harry Potter, they got Super Nintendo World, they got Dark Universe with the monsters, and they got the dragon. It's a lot of stuff, and they did it really, really well. Great vision went into this, and they executed it very well. So enjoy.
I would love to take my kids that I don't have, but when I eventually have kids, to this place, if it were not for DeSantis, you make everything seem so unfun, Ron. It's really fun. They have monsters and they have the Harry Potter and no, I'm sure it's fine. Good for Florida. We're rooting them on. This is interesting. Grok, which is the AI thing made by Elon through Twitter or X, Even it is not buying. Even Elon's brainchild is not buying the argument that Trump's bill that was passed through the House is going to reduce the deficit, which I guess is the supposed justification for cutting people's benefits, but it somehow figures out, through huge tax cuts, mostly for the rich, to cut people's benefits, take millions of people off of Medicaid, cut people's SNAP benefits, all while adding to the debt. And even Grok says the big, beautiful bill is likely to increase the budget deficit, with estimates from the CBO and CRFPB suggesting additional $2.3 to $3 trillion over 10 years. And then there's other independent analyses that go up to 5 due to tax cuts outweighing spending reductions. Even Grok does not believe Levitt's argument. And economist Justin Wolfers is saying about this, as we try to keep all of this in our view, that this is, as I've been saying, this is one of the greatest redistributions of wealth from the bottom to the top.
Nicole, I want to highlight one really important part of the current budget discussion. So you're talking right now about this very important issue, which is how much we spend versus we tax. That's the budget deficit. There's also a Robin Hood aspect. How much do we take from who and what do we give to who? This is the anti-Robin Hood. This is, according to one of my favorite budget wonks, Bobby Kogan. He said this is the largest redistribution from poor to rich in American history. So if you're okay with those at the bottom end of the income distribution getting by with less because you think it's important that those at the very top end get tax cuts and therefore have more resources to get by, that's fine by you. But for those of us with a heart, honestly, it breaks our hearts a little bit.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way to put it. It is totally, I get it. It's totally fine if you support taking from the poor to give to the rich. It just means you don't have a heart. I totally get it. It just means you are a soulless, heartless person. Good. Totally fine. Just absolutely immoral and terrible. Brilliantly said by Justin Wolfers there. And I know that sounds extreme, but that is what you're arguing for. That's why we need to establish it that way. Don't do the whole, no, I think it, but you have to just contend with the facts of it. And so I guess we sum this up by saying, even with Elon out, the Trump administration still has a lot of problems, obviously. Share your thoughts in the comments.